everyone. My name is Tawana Houston. I am the founder of Kinnect LLC. My company specializes in helping people find their lost loved ones, specifically their biological parents and siblings. Today, I have Miss Jackie Pippins, who's actually one of my clients, and she is actually going to share her story today, which I think is a very exciting one. And we're just going to kind of go with the flow. There aren't any particular questions I'm going to ask her. I just really want her to share her story, share her experience with working with me. And then we have a special treat for you all once she shares that story. So Miss Jackie, how you doing?
I'm great, Miss Tawana. How are you?
I am great. So tell us, so how did we end up even on this path in the first place? Because I think that's very interesting.
Oh, wow. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on your show today. I am definitely honored to do this. So first and foremost, here was my story. Let me just start off freshly how I was brought up and how I was raised. I was raised by my father, Mr. Douglas Walker. This is my father. And it was 9 children in the home. We didn't have a mom in the home. They separated. And so my mom was off, doing whatever she was doing. So I was definitely raised by my father. He was an amazing man. He took care of us. He did everything for us. He worked. I mean, he was the hardest working man ever. And he would come home after work. He would cook, clean. He would do all of those things because as a man, and me being a lady, a girl at the time, he couldn't teach us how to do those things because, first of all, he was a man. Secondly, and he worked all the time and he had so many kids to deal with. And I can't even imagine that even as of today. But he did all those wonderful things for us as we were coming up as kids. I thought that he was very, very mean because we couldn't do the things the average kids did. We even couldn't go outside and play with the other kids because at the time I thought he was just being mean, but he was trying to protect us is what he was doing. He was protecting us, and he wanted us to be, better than any of the other children as I look back up on it now. And as a kid, I didn't understand certain things. I would go to school. I didn't have my hair combed correctly. Kids used to laugh at me. And then kids would ask me questions like, why don't you ever talk about your mom? Is your mom dead? They would say cool things like that to me. And so that was kind of like my upbringing coming up. My dad did the best he could with what he had, the hand he was dealt with. He did, the best he could. And so as time went on and I moved out, I moved out of the house. I think I moved out of my house. I moved out of the house at about the age of 20, I think, 20, 21. And I remember when I got pregnant. I think I was 21 years old, got pregnant, had my son when I was 22. And when I came over to visit my dad and I told him I was pregnant, and he was like, that's a damn shame. He was so angry with me. And I felt like I just disappointed him because I think I was the last of them I was pregnant and didn't have a husband. That's what it was. I was pregnant, I didn't have a husband. He was just so angry about that. And I'll never forget that. But when my son came, he treated him just like it was his child. Like he did more for the grandchildren than he did for his own children. But he absolutely loved my son. And so as time went on, my dad, anytime our car would break down, my car would break down, he'd be the first one on the scene. Like he did his duties. He did his dad duties, his mom duties. He did whatever he could for his children. We never went without, never, ever went without. And I remember he got sick. I had got married and moved to Atlanta. My entire family absolutely loved my husband. When I say they love my husband, they thought my husband was the best thing ever, which he was. And because he, he took care of me. And if the family wanted something, they would always reach out to him for money and stuff like that. I had to be the one cut it off, because he would, help them. But it was everybody I meet. Man, I heard you married a great man, da da da. So they were so proud. He was so proud of his son-in-law. Very, very proud of him. So when he became sick and got ill, he was in the hospital. And he went to the hospital, got, very, very sick. I can't remember. He had pneumonia. That's what it was. He had pneumonia in both lungs. And I remember I was here in Atlanta. He called me. He was at home because he was going back and forth to the doctor and they couldn't find nothing wrong. And so I was like, wait a minute, y'all, he would call me. He said, Jackie, I can't sit up. I can't lay down. I can't stand up. I can't do nothing. I'm very uncomfortable. So I said, oh my God, like I felt so helpless. So I made a phone call because I used to work at a hospital and I used to work with these doctors. And so I called my doctor friend, me and we still cool to this day. So I called him and I said, Dr. Lewis, hey, my dad is sick and I need you to go see him, right? So so I called him and Dr. Lewis said, Jackie, bring him in my office. That next morning, he said, bring him in my office and I'll take care of him. I said, okay. So I called my dad. I said, hey, Dad, I got your appointment with Dr. Lewis at such and such time. I need you to be there. And so my dad was the type. So Jackie, how much money is it going to cost? What is it going to cost me? Because he was a veteran. He did everything, went to the VA. So I said, don't you worry about that. I got all of that. Don't you even worry about that. And so he went in to see Dr. Lewis. Dr. Lewis called me and said, Jackie, your dad is very sick. He cannot go home. He said he got pneumonia in both lungs. I'm admitting him right now. And so I was like, man, how did they miss that? So my dad, I remember him telling me, he said, Jackie, your dad is trying to pay me. I'm not charging him a dime, right? I need to get this man well. And so he immediately was admitted to the hospital and I think they kind of cleared the pneumonia up, but he was still, still wasn't feeling well. I came home, I flew home to see him. And so he woke me, look, y'all, I'll never forget this. He was asleep when I was getting ready to leave because I had to catch the flight out. I didn't want to wake him up because he was asleep. So I was trying to sneak out and he caught me. And he said, oh, you leaving? I said, yeah, I'm leaving. I'll see you next time. And he said to me, he was saying to me like, goodbye. We won't see each other no more. He was just saying, well, goodbye. But he was just like, it's just like he knew he wasn't going to see me anymore. And so anyway, they were taking him to a nursing home. I was like, on my dead body, he is not going to a nursing home. And I said, if I have to come back and move to Little Rock and take care of him, he is not going to a nursing home. And so the family agreed to take care of him. Like everybody agreed to like go by and visit, they was going to take time. So he'll have around the clock visit. So I think about a month later went by or something like that, a month or 2 later, 2 months, he was feeling real, real bad. And my nieces, which was his grandchildren, was there, and his leg was real, real cold. It was just real cold. I said, y'all need to get him to the hospital right now. And he went into the hospital, and they were all going in to see him. So they called me. It was like, my brother called me. He was like, look, if you want to see your dad alive, you better get home now. And so that's when I went to my boss and told my boss I needed some time off. And she looked at me like I was crazy because prior to, I had already been home visiting him. And she said, well, I can't let you off right now because we need you here. So, of course, I, didn't go home. And then I remember that phone call. They called me and said, He didn't make it. They tried to give him CPR. They tried to do everything, and he just didn't make it. And that was just the saddest day of my life. And so we're home. We buried him. We honestly, we gave him the best going away service as well. Never forget the white casket, like just everything. We just did. We just went all out for this man. And he had everybody coming from everywhere, all the neighbors, folks I hadn't seen in years and years and years, but it was just amazing. And the things that people were saying about him was just out of sight. They were saying that, I remember one lady saying that when he didn't have a car, you all, he would go and walk to the store and come back with 2 hands full of groceries, to feed his children. So that's the type of man he was. I mean, he loved his children. Didn't understand it as a kid, and looking back on it, I truly, understand it. And so life was never the same without him. It was just never the same without him, because it was like always like a missing piece, the missing piece. This is why I have so much respect for men. I just have a lot of respect for some men. A lot of times people say you're closer to men than you are to women, and you all can see why, because such of a great man that I had. I even when I was in my 20s, 30s, it could have been 30s, I even wrote to Oprah Winfrey to tell him the story about him, how he raised all 9 of those children by himself. And let me add this, we even had a sister. I had a sister that was born blind in one eye, and she later became blind in 2 eyes. So she was Monday through Friday, she would go to the Arkansas School of Blind every week, and she would come home on weekends because she had to go learn, how to, do all those things being blind. So I'll never forget that. And he had to take care, he had to endure all of that. And when she became sick, she ended up with cancer. And as a kid, y'all, I was 9 years old and she was 11 when she passed. But I remember her hair coming out, like, back in the day, they didn't have a cure for cancer, or for the chemo would just take out your hair and stuff. I remember a whole plait of hers just came out. Like, I was like running there, Dad, her hair is falling out. And he was like, that's what the doctor said was going to happen. And I remember the night that she died, you all, we were in the bed together. We were in the bed sleeping. I remember her making a lot of movement. She just kept moving and moving and moving. And then all of a sudden there was no movement. But then we got up as kids. We got up to play. She was still in the bed. And so my dad was in there cooking, and he said, let me go check on Wilma. That was her name. And he couldn't wake her up. And I'll never forget, he called the little wagon, is what they called it back then. A little wagon came and got her, and we never saw her again. And I remember the little white little dress with black sleeves I wore to her funeral. So that was just the saddest part. But that's how life was coming up. But again, I wouldn't trade my life for anything. We had the best of the best. So as my dad passed away, again, my life wasn't the same. I was here in Atlanta, and things just, things start falling in place, right? So how this got started with my family was my sister, my baby sister, she did this test called 23andMe. And I said, she shared it with me, and she was sharing with all her siblings and stuff, not siblings, with all her relatives, cousins and things like that. I said, oh my God, this is neat. So because again, I wasn't raised by my mom, so I didn't know my mom's relatives. I didn't know any of them. And so I said, you know what, this would be neat for me to find out who my mom relatives are. And so I said, so let me take the test. So you all took the test in June. And so I was waiting, and the test never came back. And I was like, what? So I called them. So they said, you did it wrong, and I need to send you a test back, and you need to do this properly. So, okay. I was like, I got a little discouraged. So I didn't do it for a long time. I let it sit in my house for a good little while. And finally, I think in August or September, I said, let me just go on and do this. And so, because I had the kit right there. And so I finally did it. And so my results came back. So I looked at them. It didn't mean anything to me, but what trickled me was it said my sister, who already taken the test, was my half sister. I'm like, huh? We're half sisters? How is that? Okay. So I called my friend here, Miss Tawana Houston, my business partner, and I said, Tawana, I took this test and it's weird. And so she said, give me your username and password. And let me take a look at it for you. And so she took it and she looked at it, and she had already had the answers, but I guess she was trying to figure out how to tell me. And so she said, Jackie, she would say, so what you say your dad name was? And I would give her my dad name. She said, what's your mom's name? And I would give her all the information. And then finally she called me. She said, I got some news for you. And I said, what? And she said, your dad is not your dad. And I'm going like, what do you mean my dad is not my dad? And she said, your dad is not your dad because I'm telling you, I hate to give this news to you, but your dad is not your dad. I can't find any walkers on your genealogy, on your DNA results. And I said, well, how is that? So, okay, she started researching and researching. So we found a Crutchfield on our on my genealogy. She said, who is this right here? This is your aunt. Who is this? And I'm thinking, my dad, I knew all of his relatives. I knew all the uncles. I knew everybody on his side. I said, I have no idea. And we researched her. We called folks that even said they were her, that wasn't her. And so, of course, Tawana went very, very deep, and she knows how to get them numbers. She knows how to just piece it all together. And so she finally pieced it together. And she said, she said two people. I think she might have named three people that was that could be my dad. And she said Eddie, Lawrence, and Leroy, I think. And so I said, what? Now, who are they? Who are they? And she started sending me pictures and everything. And so I immediately got on the phone. I looked on Facebook. I looked up some Crutchfields, and I saw I was friends with some of the Crutchfields already. And so I reached out to Sean Crutchfield, and Sean gave me him and Kathy Conway. Now, Kathy Conway and I we were buddies in school, and turned out she is my cousin. But anyway, Sean broke it down to me, and Kathy said, no, Leroy, not Eddie, Lawrence Crutchfield is your daddy. So she said, Lawrence Crutchfield is your dad. So I went back to Tawana. I said, Tawana, they say Lawrence Crutchfield is my dad. We started pulling up pictures, and we started doing anything. And then she was like, if Lawrence Crutchfield your dad, you got some siblings, honey. You got some siblings. I was like, oh my God, I got some siblings. And then that's where it began. After that, that's when I started meeting my family members.
Wow, I just learned a lot that I did already know about you. Wow. Well, you definitely had a great father, because at the end of the day, it's not about the blood. So, your father was a great man, and this doesn't take, away from that at all. So that's a beautiful thing, but he's gone. And now that you know who your real biological father is, I think it's just a blessing to know that you have uncles that are still alive. You have siblings that are here. Now, can you share what it was like meeting those siblings for the first time? Like, when did you meet them for the first time?
Okay, so I contacted my brother, which was Cedric Crutchfield. And I called him, and it was so funny. I said to him, I said, Cedric, well, this is Jackie. We are some kin to each other. He was like, oh, okay, cool, that's cool. I said, well, Cedric, I may be your sister. And that changed the game. And he was like, what? I said, yes. He said, okay. He took it. And then I understand he immediately called Felicia. And then Felicia gave me a call the next day, and we chatted and talked, and they open arms. They gave me open arms like from day one. They didn't know me. I didn't know them, but they opened their arms up to me. And Felicia told me that it was her birthday that was in October, and they were going to meet in Vegas. And you know, I love to travel anyway. So I said, this is a perfect time to go meet my siblings, go meet some siblings. And she was telling me who all was going to be there. And so it was nervous. It was kind of a little nervous at first, you know, but went to Vegas and met them. And it was a great experience to meet Felicia. She's like my twin. Everybody's like, oh my God, you guys are twins. No, once they saw me and Felicia, they was like, this is no doubt, this is your sister. This is definitely your sister. And so it's been on and popping from then, you know, from then we just all embrace each other. Like, you know, like we've been knowing each other for life. You know, now it's just, you know, I can't see myself without them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, when we talk about Lawrence, because we know for a fact that's your father, so it started off with just kind of narrowing everything down. But just to make sure that we were tracing the right person and we identified the right father, we actually DNA tested one of the sisters. So she took the test and it came back with a resounding yes, that she was Jackie Pippins, and her name is Miss Barbara. And Felicia, that she spoke of, is her sister as well. So Barbara and Felicia are full sisters, and Jackie is her half. Jackie is the half sibling of them two. So I want to bring them on because they are here. I'm sure you can already see their names there, but I would love for them to turn their cameras on, their mics on, and so I can introduce you all to them. So that's Miss Barbara, you see there to the left, well, to my left, and Felicia there. To the right, to my right. So ladies, I want to start with Felicia because Felicia is actually the first one that I found out about. And I remember that trip to Vegas because I was supposed to go with Jackie there. She was very nervous. So I was supposed to go with her, but I had a family emergency and couldn't make it to go to support her. And I remember seeing that picture with Felicia and Jackie together. And I was like, shoot, girl, what you need a DNA test for? We don't need a DNA. I say it was clear as day that the two of them were sisters. But Miss Felicia, if you can kind of just share what the experience was like when you first heard that you had a possible sister and what that meeting was like.
My brother called me at like 1:30 in the morning after speaking with Jackie. So he called, he was like, are you woke? And I'm like, no. So he said, a girl contacted me and she said she's our sister. So I'm like, whatever. He's like, you know, everybody always do that. So he's like, but she looked like you. So I'm like, look like me? Well, send me the picture. So of course he sent a picture and I glanced at it that night and I was thinking, we don't look alike. And so the next morning I got up and I looked again and I'm like, well, I don't know. I took it over to my mom's house. I took the picture to my mom to let my mom see it. And I didn't tell her anything at first. The first thing she said was, that lady looked like you. So I'm like, well, they say she thinks she may be a sibling. So my mom was like, well, she looks like it. So I called Jackie that morning and we spoke. And of course, Jackie went all through the whole thing on how she reached out and everything. And right from the start, my mom, right off the bat, said yes. So, you know, right from the start, Jackie was accepted into our family before my sister even took the DNA test for her. Jackie came to Vegas to meet with us. She met a lot of the siblings and nieces at that point. But from day one, she's already fit in like she was already a part of our family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Well, Miss Barb, Miss Barbara, I don't know why I want to nickname you. But But you, I met you not too long ago, and you
Mhm.
agreed to take the DNA test. So, can you just share with us what the experience was like finding out about Miss Jackie for the first time? And I guess how long have you guys ever met in person? Yeah. So you
Yes.
person. Okay. So you were in Vegas as well.
No, no.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't go to
Well, share
Vegas.
okay. Well, share your connection and how you guys met for the first time.
Oh man, y'all know I'm not a talker. Um, like Felicia said, I mean, when Jackie came to Arkansas, she told me, she said, I'm gonna be in town or whatever. And I said, okay, we can meet up or whatever. So she came out here. I mean, we were just, I mean, immediately, I just felt like she was part of our family, just immediately. It wasn't any like, I mean, it was just, everybody accepted her. When we seen her, you know, and we kept saying, oh, that is, my husband said, that is Felicia's twin. We just kept saying, I said, oh my goodness, that is Felicia's twin. So, I mean, that's it. I mean, we was just excited that we got another sister. Like, oh, well, we got another sister.
Uh-huh. And then you agreed to take the test.
Yes, I agreed to take the test. And when Jackie, well, first of all, Felicia was supposed to have been doing the test. And somehow Felicia didn't want to do it. So I'm like, why? I mean, Jack is our sister. You, Felicia, y'all twins. I said, so if the test come back, if dad is not if it come back saying, I forgot how it was anyway, but I said, girl, Jack is our sister, no matter what. I said, if it come back, then she said, well, how you know it's not Uncle Robert? I said, well, okay, well, Uncle Robert, your daddy then. I said, because you and Jackie looks just alike. So we had that little argument. I said, because y'all look just alike. So when Jackie called me, she said, we are family. I said, I already knew it anyway. We already knew it. So.
And let me clear something up, Miss Barbara. I said I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news if it came back that Jack is not our sister.
But we already knew. We already said, hey, come on now. Y'all got the same dad. It didn't make a difference who your dad.
There was a picture of my Uncle Robert, and Jackie knows I was just teasing her. And yes, they did. We were at a lake house, and I sent Jackie a picture of me. Jackie, you showed her the picture, right? I sent Jackie a picture of me. And when I took the picture, when we were at the lake house, my mom and my sisters were all there. And they goes, well, if Uncle Robert is Jackie's dad, then he's definitely your dad. And my mom said, no, he's not. I was just teasing. I never said Jackie was not my sister.
No, you didn't say no. We already knew you and Jackie had the same dad.
Yes, but they teased me back because I teased Jackie and told Jackie, well, Uncle Robert could be your daddy. So they got me back and said, well, then he's your dad.
That's what I was telling her. I said, man, we need a DNA test Felicia because y'all look so much alike. Yeah. And then Jackie was like, well, because I was thinking either she's going to be your first cousin or your half sibling, one or the other. Right. And y'all look so much alike. I'm like, man, it's got to be sisters. So whoever Jackie dad is definitely Felicia's dad.
Exactly.
But when that
Barbara, Mama done told you about that.
So y'all basically done told your mama that she was messing with Robert. I know she could. Lord. But this is such a beautiful story. And it started off with just, you know, Jackie trying to just find her mother's side of the family. And, you know, even though Lawrence isn't here, just to see her connect with other family, because so many other ones. There's so many people we've talked to that, you know, she's been able to build a relationship with. So I love it. You all, this is a beautiful thing. And Jackie's all about family and remaining close. So I know this relationship is going to go very far. Have you all met her kids yet? Jayla?
Yeah,
not yet.
Jayla.
Yeah.
Okay.
Barbara did. I was out of town when they were here in Little Rock, so I didn't meet her yet.
That's right, because I didn't even think about that part of it, Jackie. I mean, y'all got a niece and nephew here in Atlanta as well.
Yes. Yeah, just hadn't met her son yet, but we met the daughter.
Did
Okay.
Jackie tell you how many siblings she actually has?
No, I don't think so. She may have. How many do you have?
You have
From
to ask them.
On our
My
side,
mom,
let me see, it's what, 20?
it's 15 from mom and dad, and then what? It's 7 extra just from daddy.
Yeah,
Ooh.
22. Yeah, Jackie makes the 22nd. So
Mhm.
yeah, so it's
Look at
22
Jackie's
of us.
face. Oh goodness. So how many have you met, Jackie? Even spoke with or met, either one?
Siblings. I don't
On that other
remember.
side, you only met what, Steve?
I met Steve and I met somebody that came to your house, Barbara, when I was there. A lady, a sister.
Was it Laverne?
Oh, that was Laverne.
Yeah.
That was on, yeah, that was my mom. Yeah, on my mom's side.
And then I met somebody at Tina's house. Is that the same person? She had just came from the casino.
Oh, that's
That's her.
Laverne. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
Laverne. That's the one
Okay.
that looked all upside your head.
Yeah.
Like, who is this?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, well, this is a beautiful thing, Jackie. Again, Mr. Walker, amazing man. He raised what, 9 children?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All by himself. I want to say you're the first person I've ever met that has such a great upbringing without a mom in the household. So, you know, a lot of times when, because I just love you to death because you're so direct and you all about your business and things like that. Because, you know, people always, you know, see that hardcore exterior, but when you really get to know a person and hear their story and, you know, where they've come from, you can better understand them. So this is a beautiful thing. I actually think it brought us a lot closer throughout the process. But I pray that you guys keep building this relationship on up, and thank you for trusting me to help you with it. And I'm pretty sure this story is going to bless someone else out there, because a lot of people are just terrified of making that move. You know, they don't want to know the truth, but a lot of times the truth will bring out so many other
Will
positive.
set you free.
Yeah.
So I have a question to my sisters, to my siblings. So both of you guys. So now that you all know me, so it's been like a year, I think, now that we've known each other. I think it's been like a full year. So what do you all think of me? What do y'all think about me?
Oh, wow.
You first, Barbara.
Hey, I treat you like the rest of them, honey. You're gonna get.
I know how
cussed
you
out.
treat me. I know how you treat me.
And how,
But how do you perceive me? What are your thoughts when it comes to me?
that you are a caring, compassionate person. I can tell. I mean, for anybody to come looking for this wild family, this part of the family, I think you're a nice, caring, compassionate person. I mean, I'm excited that you came looking for us, and we're just happy just to have another sibling, like I say. But I think you're nice and very compassionate. Yeah.
Tawana, her daughter actually came here to Atlanta and spent some time with me.
Yeah. So,
Krista.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
trust you with my daughter, so I know you're a nice person.
Okay, cool. All right, Felicia.
I think she is a go-getter. She doesn't quit. I think we'd like to see more of her, but she's always out of town. So I know she's very business-minded. And I can tell she's family oriented, because if not, she wouldn't have did all the search and keep searching. She can leave some of them alone now that she's found the real family. And coincidentally, my daughter and her niece are best friends.
Oh, wow.
And they've been that way for years. So actually, my daughter actually knew of Jackie when we didn't even have a clue on who she was.
So let me ask you this. Have you guys narrowed down where you were living growing up to know how close you were actually apart?
We lived in the same vicinity, but because Little Rock is small. So we know we lived in Little Rock, and we had siblings that also went to Central. We
Oh,
all went
that's
to
right.
Central as
Yeah.
well. We all went to Central
Yeah.
as well.
Well,
So-
I just thought about it. Joe, my husband Joe and Jackie went to school together.
Sure
So
did.
yeah, they went to school together, went to Central together. And he said Jackie was quiet.
See, Tawana, I told y'all I was quiet.
Y'all got proof.
Yeah, he said she was quiet.
So how far apart are you all in age?
I'm 54.
And I'm
I'm
59.
56 and I'm 56.
Oh, 54, 59, 56. Okay. So y'all definitely wouldn't have crossed paths really in school.
We wouldn't have, but some of my sisters would have.
Mm-hmm.
So all the siblings went to the same school.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Ain't that
Mhm.
something? Jackie,
That's
like,
crazy. Well, Barbara went to school with my sister though.
Yeah, Liz. Yeah, I sure did.
mhm. Wow. So you really don't have, okay, so I remember we went down this path, Jackie. You had 9 siblings. So this also brought out the fact that you don't have any full siblings, right? So you went from having 9 full to having all halves.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Okay, cool. Well, girl, this has been an amazing journey. That's really all I had. Again, thank you all for giving me the opportunity to put this all together here and to meet all of you. And just, Jackie, I know you're going to keep me posted every time you meet someone new. But like Felicia said, they need to see more of you.
Wait, that goes 2 ways.
Yes, it does. Yeah, she
Jackie's
don't
the
always have
one-
to come here. We can
She's
go
the
to
one always
Atlanta.
out of town, though. She's the one always out of town. Every time we click on Jackie's out of town, when she calls me, I'll say, "Oh, so I do have a sister named Jackie."
It's the pointy chin for me. You two, this part, like, it's identical. All this in here. And then Felicia and Barb, you two look so much alike as well. But Jackie and Felicia is just like
Felicia,
looking
yeah.
at the same person.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
So I guess we can credit that to my my late Aunt Ada, which was my dad's sister, because that's who they said I've always looked like.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Well, y'all keep me posted. I can't wait to see, meet you all as well and see some pictures with you all, everybody kind of together. The 22 siblings, how many are still living?
All of them except one.
Oh,
Our brother passed this year. So
Last year.
was it
Last
last year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Jackie, you got some work.
When
to do.
co-
You
It
got
was
some-
last year when COVID first started.
No,
It was
he
last
died.
year.
Okay, I can't remember.
Last year.
Yeah.
It was last
So much
year.
going on.
I think he was gone when y'all met me, and you all
Yeah.
met me
Yeah,
last
okay.
year.
Okay,
Mhm. It was last year.
yeah.
I mean,
It's-
yeah, you all met me last October the 30th.
I mean, I guess this year and last year just been a blur. Just
Yeah,
They met you around Halloween, Jackie.
Well, that's
birthday.
Felicia's birthday.
yeah.
Halloween was my birthday. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, that's when y'all met in person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For my birthday weekend.
Gotcha.
But I would tell anyone that's looking or longing for their family, look, and just like it may be a happy ending, just like we end up, being siblings and finding each other. It was definitely no thought after meeting Jackie that it was going to be a great relationship, because she has a very good personality.
Mhm.
Yeah, she doesn't know what she in for with this family. But yeah, everyone is still excited. For the ones that haven't met her, they're still excited to meet her.
Mhm.
Well, you both seem very, very, very nice and down.
They
to
are.
earth.
They're beautiful people. They really are. Like, they are family oriented. They love to do family things.
Mhm.
Like cook. They party. They do everything together with family.
We do. We do.
Yeah. And to one, I don't like to talk on camera, but when I see you in person, I can talk up a storm then. So
You know what? I'm the same way. I can tell you when it comes to these Zooms and these cameras, it takes a lot for me to do it. But this year, personally, I just love doing this. So for some reason, my nerves are absolutely fine when it comes to doing this. But I love what Felicia just said. You know, she basically talks to the audience and just said, hey, if you're on that search. So I would love for you all to share, starting with you, Barb, and then ended with you, Jackie. If there's someone out there who is looking for that loved one, because let me share this first. A lot of people reach out to me because they want to know, or maybe they were adopted, scenarios like that, or maybe they later found out in life that their father that they grew up with wasn't their biological father, but they're terrified of making that move. And I try to tell them, I said, the picture is so much bigger than just your biological father. You got siblings out there that are probably still living and things of that nature. So if you could just share why it's important to make that move, would be great.
Well, yeah, it is. It's very important. In fact, my husband is wanting to look for his siblings. Just like Jackie, last name is Walker. My husband, his real last name is Walker.
Oh, wow.
I know. So the reason why his name is Stewart, because his mom was married. And so she went out and cheated.
Okay.
And so
I hope his mom doesn't see this.
I don't care. But anyway, so the man name was Walker. So I told my husband, I'm gonna get him this gift this year. You know, I'm gonna get him the kit so he can find out about all his siblings. So I've been encouraging him to do it. You know, I was telling him about Jackie's story, and he said, are you recording what's going on with Jackie so I can listen or whatever? So I'm gonna get him the gift so we can find out about his siblings.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure I get this link to you.
Okay.
So you can share it. So Jackie.
I definitely want to encourage everyone to go and take the test. The reason why that is so important, because there may be some information out there you don't know. Like, you know, I didn't know I was gonna come up on this information. It was a big shocker to me. And so there were a lot of hidden secrets back in the day. One thing about that crowd of people, they're nothing like today. Today, people tell everything. But back then, they didn't. They were sleeping around with the mailman. I remember we had a watermelon man. Like all of those, they was like doing those things, their little things back in the day. Yeah. But they never told anybody. They kept it a secret. And so I want to encourage everybody to. I think personally, when a baby is born, they should have that DNA test. Because this, I was reading a story where this lady had this man locked up for 5 years because he didn't pay child support. And come to find out, they gave him a DNA test. He was not the father. And he was locked up for 5 years for no reason at all. So I want to encourage everybody to go out and just get the test, just so you know for your records, for your records. So go and get the test, find out who you really, really are. And if you don't have no secrets, you just don't have no secrets. Nobody knows all their relatives anyway. Do it to get to know who your cousins are, all of those different things.
Yeah, that's so true, because during my journey, I've met a lot of people who are double related. And it's because they don't know their family, so they end up sleeping with their relatives.
Oh, that's another thing. Yuck.
Yeah.
I could have easily married. I could have married a brother like you guys, because it's a lot of you all. I could have ended up marrying Cortrill. I don't, it could have possibly happened. I don't know. But so that's another thing. Yeah.
Miss Tawana.
Yes, ma'am.
You forgot to ask Jackie what she thought about us, each one of us.
Yes, Jackie.
No, I asked the question anyway. Tawana didn't ask, but
so Jackie, what do you think about your new family, your new siblings, specifically Miss Felicia and Barb?
I think I absolutely love them, no doubt. Like, no doubt. Them, especially them. I'm closer to them and Tina and Cedric. And I think those are the ones that I'm really, really closer to. Those are the ones I met. Those are the ones I talked to on the phone. Like Cedric had a tragedy the other day, and Felicia called me that night. I was like, couldn't even sleep. Like, I just couldn't sleep after she told me that. And I had a chance to speak with him, since then. Now, whatever happens to them, I feel it too. Like that's just that's just gonna be a part of my new life with them. Something happened to them, it happens to me as well. So yeah, I absolutely love them. For as my family hadn't completely embraced it yet, if I can say that. Not that they don't care or don't whatever, but I think they may think, well, since this is your new family, are you trying to put us aside? You know how some folks might feel like that, and that's just not the case. That's definitely not the case. It's just enough love to go around for everybody. You know what I'm saying? My children can't get used to the idea that they got new aunts and uncles. They haven't totally embraced it yet. I guess they need to meet them and be around them in order to like totally embrace that. Like my son loved my dad. Like that was his grandfather. And for him to imagine thinking he got another one it's just hard to accept. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of harder to accept than, but they're gonna get used to it. Because I was telling my son, I was like, he was like, next time you go to Arkansas, I want to go with you so I can meet them. So they want to meet him. My husband, I don't think he totally embraced it. He know that I have them out there. I don't think he's like totally, because I think they feel that I'm going to be more involved with them than my other family. And it's just not going to be that way. I got enough love for everybody, period. I got enough love for everybody. So they got to see that we lost Felicia, that I'm not, I'm not going to just throw my family aside at all. So, yeah.
Absolutely. That's all right. It'll come with time. She's trying to jump back on, looks like.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty much a wrap, you all. I just want to kind of recap really quick. Did you all lose me? I think I froze for a second.
No, we hear you.
Yeah, Felicia up there.
Okay, great. Let me bring Felicia back on for our closeout here.
Here. Yeah, okay.
There we go. Okay, well, again, my name is Finn. Hold on, there you go.
What?
I'm sorry. Okay. Again, Tawana Houston, the founder of Kinnect LLC. Again, my company specializes in helping people locate their lost loved ones, specifically their biological parents and siblings. So anyone that's watching that is interested in making that next move, just reach out to me directly. You will see it on the banner here. You will see the website, phone number, and everything. So again, Tawana Houston, that website is kinnectllc.com. And ladies, thank you so much for being on the platform today. And have a blessed day, everybody.
Okay,
All
you
right,
too.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.